Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz, July 31, 2016 at 1:10 a.m. Birmingham. And topic, part 3 of socialism versus capitalism. And there'll be more, but they'll be scattered out over the next several weeks to months. But I did a lot of research, and the parts that I threw in about leprosy in India and the parts I threw in about the untouchables in India, I've known about those for a long time. And I guess back in the 70s. And it broke my heart to see how people are treated in other countries, but it's the social standard in which that they're graded by, and that's where they put them, and that is very hardcore socialist. But yet it's a standard. Capitalists, communists, socialists, the social groups is what they are. One is different from the other. Communists and socialism, or communists and socialists, I don't like either. They say socialist is worse, and I don't believe it's worse. I think communist is. A lot of people died under communists. A lot of people. And capitalist is just another program that benefits those who work toward a goal. You cannot work toward that goal if you're under any other program. Any. I mean, look it up. I did. And I also looked up some other things, and I was surprised at the answer. How can a socialist accumulate wealth? This is the wide mouth internet that I checked this on. And you know what? I didn't find one good answer. Not one. Some said, well, you kind of have to have it. Some said you have to be in good with the leaders of the country. Some said you have to be in the higher ranks of the military. None of them said you could go build a business and earn it. Not one. And then I asked, well, how can socialism work? And then how does socialism work? And I got some answers there. But the answer that was the truest form of the word socialism and its title said, socialism can work. But did you get that? It can work. But it hadn't yet. North Korea, every time they need money, they start telling the world that millions of their people are dying because they're starving to death. So countries send them food and money. So what you see is 1 million man plus military in North Korea that gain, or that averages the average weight of the same height military personnel, and then the same height of the non-military, that the workers. There's a 20 to 30 pound difference in their weight. Did you know that? They feed the military well. The food that comes in goes to the military. It does not go to the outlying citizens through the countryside. When it reaches the outer reaches, there's none left. most of it, upwards of 80% of it goes to the military and their families. Military, you have minimum 8 years, minimum military. In some cases, it's considerably more as part of the system. And then somebody asked a question, and they were blaming capitalism on people going hungry around the world. And they picked India and were very specific about India. They said, if capitalism works so well, why are so many millions of Indians starving? Why don't you go and ask those who categorize the Indians? Remember the people whose grandfather, grandmother had leprosy? Well, this person that never had it, but their grandfather or grandmother did, this person cannot get a well-paying job. They have to take a job if they know it's not a generation or two within them, but the job can't, it can only go so far. There's people that wants to work and just say at a drugstore, but cannot tell anyone whatsoever, cannot tell their friends they hang out with that any part of their family had leprosy, or they will be considered part of that family. Well, you're not completely healed, so we can't hang out with you. And at the work, we can't have you here. It's just our health standards, So out the door you are. You're still under a social program. And also, when you talk about the untouchables, they're the bottom of the social ladder completely. People don't want to be near them, around them. People don't want to be at home when they come to clean. People don't want to be in the streets when they come through. They have to clean the latrines or the outhouse. So many cities don't even have commodes and bathrooms, except those that have to be cleaned out by hand. These people, these untouchables, they're the bottom of the social ladder. So this is their job. This is what they have to do for a living. They can't have other jobs. That's it. That is it. That's the highest they get. And they're forced to do that because of their social standard or where they stand in the hierarchy, which is low. Now, what about them going hungry? The food is sent. The money was sent. India got the food and the money. But just the same as North Korea, the elite took it. All they got to do is let them have a farm on the countryside and let families make a little bit of money so they can sell. No, you can't do that. Can't do that. You have to be of a certain family in order to do that. North Korea, their farms are forced to grow and to feed people. And 80% of what they grow and feed is rice. You know that. But yet, they cannot profit from it. The government profits from it. And then they will even be punished if they don't meet a quota. But when you feed somebody and 60 to 80% of their diet's rice, they're going to stay skinny. So don't blame the food didn't get there or the money didn't get there. It did. It just never got past the elite. And in this country, don't tell me that the head man, say Bill Gates, his $75 billion, he stole it from people. It's not his fault because in our country, a certain percentage of people go to bed every night hungry without a meal. Did you know that? Right here in America. So why shouldn't we blame Bill Gates for not chipping in 3 or 4 billion a year, along with all these other multi-billionaires? They would solve the problem. Let me tell you what, the more money that's put out there to buy food and to give people money to buy food and to grow food and get it for them, the more money goes in the pocket of those who have the control over distribution. That has always been, always will be. But it is easier in any country that has even a limited amount of a better social program called capitalist. It is still okay for them to try and make money or try to become wealthy by working their butts off. It is still possible, but by a very, very slim margin. But when you are socialist, and that is the program that you voted for, capitalist is out the window. 100%, it is gone. Those that create something before they will let the government get it, they'll leave our country. They'll go somewhere else, and then they'll sell it that way. Believe me, that's what they do. And that's why the billionaires in this country don't have their money in this country. You think they have their money in these banks? Think again. When you vote for socialist, like the best answer, well, they can accumulate wealth, but they didn't tell you how. And the socialism work, well, it can work. It just hadn't yet. Canada, if you have a problem, depending on your age, or you need an operation quickly, if you're 35 and you have a hernia or something, then you'll get on in, get it taken care of. If you're 55, you have a hernia, then you may or may not have that operation. If you're 60, you won't have it unless it just comes right on out, just rips a hole in you. And if you have a bad cold, by the time you get to the doctor, you'll be over it anyway. So you're put on a back burner. That's Canada. That's today. Check out the health insurance for socialists in the rest of the countries. Go to all of them on the internet and look them up. None of them even competes with still what we have today, even though Obama severed ours with the sharpest knife he could find. But we'll get it back. That man's not going to take us down. No. He's not worth it. And as far as earning, the more you do, the more you get, that is biblical, guys. That is 100% biblical. If a man does not work, a man does not eat. And then a man that works with the fruit that he's given and continues to work, the more crowns he will get to give Christ and to throw at his feet. Wouldn't you hate to go to heaven and have only the crown that got you by the skin of your teeth? Or would you like to have been somebody that worked along the way and occasionally told someone about Christ? The Bible says man must work, period. The old saying, you feed a man a fish, he'll eat today. You teach him to fish, he'll eat every day. Jody Wolf Expoz.